My name is Kent Ferris. I'm the Director of Social Action and Catholic Charities for the Diocese of Davenport. And what I will share with you today is some of what our office has been up to lately. The Social Action Department has a long history, a testament to our bishop's leadership. Once a Catholic Charities providing a number of social services, the charity was discontinued due to a large degree of duplication of services with other local organizations. As the national lead for the Catholic Campaign for Human Development, Father Moddett used the parable of 2 feet to explain social action. The foot of charity to address the immediate needs of the hungry, the homeless, the jobless, and the foot of justice to help prevent poverty and ills caused by poverty. Charity and justice are so intertwined that it is often difficult to classify an activity as one or the other. Both are needed. Since the mid-1970s, our Immigration Office, now a part of our Catholic Charities, has helped U.S. citizens and legal permanent residents to petition the government for permission to bring their spouses, mothers, fathers, and children to live with them here in the United States. The 2.5 employees of our Immigration Office are accredited by the Department of Justice. They practice this family reunification law, one of the 2 ways to legally enter the U.S. The other is a company petitioning for an employee whose critical skills are in short supply in the other. We help 225 to 250 clients annually, which, when counting the relatives, affects the lives of about 500 people each year. In the office, at fairs, or in Oskaloosa, Ottumwa, Fairfield, or other locations, we work with our State Department and citizenship and immigration services partners to help create the final picture. And as you can see on the bottom corner, a federal judge welcoming a new U.S. citizen. When did we visit you in jail? With these words in mind, we work to heal relationships between offenders, the victims, and the community. We have a small but growing network working in jail and prison ministry and in alternatives to incarceration such as drug court. We work with the Archdiocese of Dubuque, ordained and lay people who mentor recent parolees, parishioners from St. Mary's in Solon who work with representatives from the 6th Judicial District to provide circles of support for ex-felons. We also work with the 7th Judicial District Drug Court, mentoring those who would otherwise simply do jail time. We are seeking additional members for our network. Our failure as a society to reintegrate into regular society those who have paid their penalties and seeking change contributes significantly to a return to crime. We work with Jennifer Hildebrand, a registered nurse and the coordinator and trainer for the Faith, Community, and Health Ministry element of Genesis Visiting Nurses Association, and her colleagues at Trinity Health Systems to promote this ministry for the health of body, spirit, mind, and soul. We currently have 6 parishes with a faith health ministry and others that receive educational support from the group. Project Rachel is a confidential post-abortion ministry for women and men who have experienced pain and loss from abortion. Our implementation of Project Rachel, begun in August of 2014, involves clerical and lay counseling and assistance. Whether it is St. Patrick's in Iowa City, Coralville, or Oakville, disasters happen in Iowa. Emergency personnel and organizations such as the Red Cross form the bulk of first response, but it is religious organizations that form the backbone of the long-term recovery for families. In 2008 and 2010, we worked with county emergency managers, health departments, and nonprofit organizations to form and maintain community organizations to help the communities respond and rebuild. Now we are working with parishes and other churches to develop plans to protect church properties and records, to encourage families to develop family response plans, and to decide what role the parish or church can play in the larger community, such as in providing spiritual counseling, fielding teams of volunteers, in sheltering or feeding. Our basic task is to assist parishes and individuals in finding ways to live out their faith in action according to Catholic social teaching. In fact, that is our departmental mission statement. This tree illustrates how both feet are integral to social action and how a single issue cannot exist by itself apart from all else. Our mission involves regular coordination and communication with a very large spectrum of organizations. They include many elements of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, from pro-life activities to justice for immigrants, CRS, Catholic Rural Life, CCUSA, Pax Christi, the Iowa Catholic Conference, non-Catholic partners such as Bread for the World, state and federal legislatures, a host of national and local organizations, conferences and committees, deaneries, parishes, and individuals. We maintain 2 Google groups, one assisting parish social action teams and the other promoting advocacy on specific issues. We have a social action newsletter that grows only by individual subscription requests, but we even have a subscriber in Japan. We depend to a great extent on the cooperation of one of the finest Catholic periodicals, the Catholic Messenger, and publications and assistance from other dioceses and organizations. It is all part of the constant exchange of questions and requests for assistance, and assistance received from individuals, clergy, and religious, and nonprofit organizations across the country and overseas. Here we begin the first of the slides depicting our Justice Foot activities. The Catholic Campaign for Human Development helps people help themselves out of poverty. 25% of the annual collection, almost $8,000 in 2014, remains in the diocese for local grants to organizations working with those working their way out of poverty situations. 2 organizations in the diocese, Quad Cities Interfaith and the Worker Justice Center of Eastern Iowa, have received national CCHD grants for their work. In these organizations, 50% or more of the leadership must be people living in poverty. CRS works with disaster victims as these Haitian workers are turning earthquake rubble in aggregate for concrete. In poverty-stricken countries, it provides basic education, helps women to form a company, trains in agriculture for arid lands, provides nets, protect families from malaria-bearing mosquitoes, or the first ever community water system. The principal CRS collection addresses much more than CRS alone. The Rice Bowl collection, both a way to help parishes experience the Lenten disciplines of prayer, fasting, and almsgiving, but it too helps provide CRS services. Again, 25% of the Rice Bowl collection nearly $11,000 in 2014, remained here for hunger programs across the diocese. Our support of CRS is reciprocal. In addition to support from the regional and national offices, Dr. Carolyn Wu, former Dean of the School of Business at Notre Dame University and now CEO of CRS, was the keynote speaker at our Iowa Institute for Social Action this February. The dignity of human life is the basis of all social concern. With these words, Helene Paharic, then Diocesan Director of Human Dignity at the Diocese of Pittsburgh, now an Associate General Secretary of the Diocese, began her keynote presentation at the Iowa Institute for Social Action several years ago. Beginning with Genesis, she led us through the development of Catholic theology making visible the complex intertwining of all of God's creation, demonstrating that whether the topic is the health of an individual, families and marriage, prenatal care, economic support of individuals and families, or care for the environment in which they exist, it is all respect for life. The department sponsors or participates in various traditional Respect Life activities and is a member of pro-life councils and committees. We promote life issues in parishes and in the legislatures, together with other activities depicted in this presentation. It's all about life. We facilitate the Pacham and Terrace Coalition, which consists of Jews, Christians, and Muslims. The coalition began in 1964 as an element of the Catholic Interracial Council. Presently, St. Ambrose and Augustana universities participate, as well as several orders of women religious and local faith groups, such as Pax Christi and Quad Cities Interfaith. The committee solicits and reviews nominations prior to review, approval, and award by Bishop Amos to honor them as true champions of peace and justice. St. Vincent Home had its beginning as Sacred Heart Asylum, managed by the Sister Servants of the Sacred Heart. The Sister Servants were recalled to France in 1896, and Bishop Cosgrove invited the Congregation of Humility of Mary to take care of the 35 orphans in Davenport. Its peak enrollment was 165 in 1921. These pictures date from the 1950s. When the corporation which operated the orphanage since 1917 dissolved, proceeds from the dissolution went into a trust to provide grants for children in special categories of need. Our department manages a board for the bishop which annually makes such grants. In 2014, under Bishop Amos, the board granted $47,800 to 14 organizations in such locations as Keokuk, Oskaloosa, Davenport, Fort Madison, and Clinton. Again, this is both a depiction of our principal functions, but it is also a graphic presentation of the way that we work from the roots of Scripture through the documents of the Church and the bishops' definitions of the principles of Catholic teaching to their application to the issues of today. We conclude with the words of a poem often attributed to Bishop Oscar Romero, but actually are the words of Bishop Ken Utner of Saginaw, Michigan. We may never see the end results, but that is the difference between the master builder and the worker. We are workers, not master builders, ministers, not messiahs. We are prophets of a future not our own. We hope that you have found this information helpful and informative. If there are ever ways that we can help your parish efforts in social action with either of the 2 feet of social justice, please do not hesitate to contact our office. Peace and all good.